Hi, my name is Jackson. I'm one of the co-founders over at Roastify, and today I want to take a little bit of time to walk you through using the designer that we provide within Roastify. So, if you're looking to create a new product, this is going to be the first step creating that custom packaging. So, if you're a talented designer, if you love staring at a blank canvas and just getting after it to make your vision come to life, you could begin editing right here. But if you're like me and need some inspiration, you'd like a base to edit and work off of and make your own, we provided a number of templates for you to use. So you can come right up here to this box labeled number one, and you can scroll through the various templates that we've provided. But you can look, you can find one that you like, and once you select it, it's going to bring it right over here to the canvas. As we zoom in a little bit, you're going to see a couple of different lines that show up. You're going to see these blue dotted lines, and you're going to see these red lines. So don't worry, these won't show up on your final design. They only live here in the designer. They're to give you a reference of the different pieces of the packaging. So these blue dotted lines, these are going to be your fold lines. This is where the packaging is going to crease and make up those different elements. So this is the front panel. You can see your two side panels here. The back panel's over here. And then up here, you can see that's that top flap. The red lines, those are the cut lines. So anything that extends beyond those red lines, that will not be included in your final design. I will note here, though, that we recommend that you extend your design, though, past those cut lines. If you're trying to line them up with the line, or if you come a little bit short, you're going to leave these ugly white lines on your packaging because the design didn't quite make it to the edge. So it's called bleed, and you want to make sure that you extend your background or you extend some of the elements beyond that red line that you don't actually want included in your final design. So, as I alluded to, these elements are a building block, or these templates are a building block, and all of these elements are editable. So let's say you come down here, your brand name here, you can select that text by double clicking, and you can put in whatever you like. You can see coming down here your name of your coffee. This one has, you can fill in the roast level bubbles, all of that, as it says here, fun stuff. So zooming out, those are the elements, or that is the base template. All of those can be moved around. But I want to take a moment to kind of walk through the different options and the different tools that you have to really make these designs your own. So the first one over here on this list is text, which is self-explanatory. There's some kind of pre-selected fonts that go together. But all you have to do is select one of these, and all of these different pieces, they will immediately just be brought out onto your canvas. So you can see here with this text, it's brought out, comes in black. All of those colors can be changed. You can select your hue, you can drag it around and find a new color that goes with your design. You can select some of these pre-selected colors down here. Or you can use this tool, which is one that I use frequently, as the eyedropper tool. So this tool allows you to select colors that already exist on the canvas. You can see this little magnifier circle, and you can say, all right, I want my text to be the same kind of cream color. You just come over here and you can select it, and your text will change over to the color that you selected. Similar to any word processor you've used, you could change fonts. You can change your font size. You can change whether it's justified right, left, center. You can move that around. You can also bold, italicize, and all of that other good stuff. You can add a little bit of blur if you wanted to, and backgrounds and shadows and different things to make your text pop a little bit more. You also, to resizing, you can grab this box and you can select it, and you can resize it bigger or smaller and move it around your text. If you're wanting to put something upside down so that it shows right side up on the flap, you can use this rotation tool. You can drag that around so that it's aligned with exactly where you want it. And kind of on that theme, as you're looking at this flat design and you're kind of wondering what it would look like as a final product, you can come over here to this 3D visualizer, which you can drag and look at the box. And you just click that Update Mockups button. And whatever's on your canvas will be generated into a 3D image, so you can really take a look and get a feel for how your design's coming along, how that packaging is looking. So moving on to the next option we have is stock imagery. So This feature is powered by Unsplash, which is, if you've never used it before, it's a very large library of copyright-free imagery, and you can search for um, anything that you think would be beneficial for your brand for this packaging. So I'm searching coffee here, and you can select any of these images, and same with the text, it'll pop it right out to your canvas. You can resize it, rotate it, all of that good stuff. And if we bring it over here, that brings me up to a good point. Is you can see how this imagery is covering the text. So if you're unfamiliar with design software in general, because all of them operate off the same principle, is all of them are operating on a vertical plane. So if you can imagine it as you have a bottom and you have a top, and all of these different pieces on the designer are elements. So right now, this image is being layered above the text. And obviously, if that's not how you want this to look, you'd like this text to be on top of it, is you could come to the text. You could come, and there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can come to this positions button, and you could bring it up one layer, or you can snap it all the way to the top of your design by clicking this to forward button. And conversely, I could position this and I could send it down a layer, or if I sent it all the way to the bottom, you could see that the element's still there. It was not deleted, but it is behind this background image that makes up the bulk of this design. So I want it to be visible, but I don't want it to be above this text. I could just bring it up a single layer, and you'll see that it is above the background, but it's below the text. I will warn you, kind of in this tutorial, the end result is not going to be a beautifully designed package. I'm more so just walking through the different tools available, so you have a better understanding of them, and you can use those to create your packaging. So I'm going to get rid of this image right here, and we're going to come to this next box, which is elements. So there you can see there's some lines, there's some different shapes, and these are all really cool tools to make the packaging your own. So let's say here on this back panel, let's say I wanted to put in a white text box because I wanted to put a little blurb about my company or the mission or what we're doing here. So I could click this. It's going to bring in this gray square. I could move it over here to the back panel. I could resize it to make sure that it's only on the back panel. I want it to be a white text box, so I'm going to make it white. And then with the tool we learned before, I'm going to position it one layer down so that this text is on top. So elements, a lot of different shapes. Let's say you wanted this hexagon to be the background for your logo or something. There's a lot of different ways that you can use these tools, bring them on. Another kind of fun feature to note is, let's say I don't want this to just be fully stark white. I want to see a little of the background through it. You can come up here to this tool, the transparency tool, and you can drag down that opacity. And you can see that white layer is getting more and more see-through, allowing that background to show through a little bit. So that could be applied to any elements on here. You can come up, change the transparency, and adjust those different pieces. You can see that black circle disappearing into the cream background. So that's elements. The other feature is uploads. So if you have a logo or you have any other designed elements that you already have, you can come to this tab and you can bring all of those into the designer. So I've already uploaded a white transparent logo. That's why it looks like a white box, but you can click that and it'll bring it onto your canvas. Just like we did before, we're going to resize that. And let's say I wanted our white Roastify logo mark to be in this circle. So I can roughly kind of size it down. I can remove by clicking and pressing delete on my keyboard to remove the text elements that came with the template. And I could click and I could drag that into the circle. And you'll note as I'm dragging this around, there's a few of these kind of blue dotted lines that are showing up. These are called guidelines, and they help you to get an idea of kind of where center or where spatially things are, so you can make sure that the packaging and your different elements are perfectly centered or perfectly placed where you want them to be. And as I'm going along, I like to click this generate mockups just so I can get an idea of the changes that I'm doing. It helps me to visualize how they look on the packaging. And from there, the other feature is background. and I can click this, and this is just going to change that bottom layer of your design as you put them in. So we're going to go ahead, I'm going to press edit, I'm going to clear design. And any of these, probably what's more useful than these tie-dye, unless that really fits with your brand, is, let's say you just wanted to start off with a solid black box, or I wanted to go with a red box. This allows you to just very quickly change that entire background of the imagery. And let's say you did what I just did. I hate this. I don't love the way that it looks. And I want to go back to a previous version. And this would also apply if, let's say, your browser got refreshed, or you exited the page on accident. We offer this little history drop down. And about every minute or so, it's going to take a snapshot of where your design was at that period of time. And you can go back in time and upload that older version or return to a previous version, which is great if you get lost in the weeds and you really don't like where the design is going. You want to go back 10 minutes, get yourself to a better spot, or you did what I just did and cleared out the design, or like I said, your browser refreshed. This little history feature allows you to go back and bring your packaging back to a previous state. And then, like I was explaining earlier in this video, the concept of layers. This layers panel is going to show all of the different elements that exist on this canvas. And so for this one, you can see this is the logo. And if you're an organized person, if you're including a lot of elements, and you don't want to have to go through and do what I just did and like turn things off and on to figure out what things are at, or click them so you can see it's highlighted which element you're talking about, you can just go ahead and rename all of these if you want to. Again, this has nothing to do with your final design. This is purely for you and your editing process, to be organized and have a reference of knowing exactly what the different pieces are in your design. So at a high level, those are the different tools that are available to you. And hopefully you can use your creativity and your design skills to really bring the packaging to life and end up with a product that you're excited to ship out to your customers. But once you get to a point where you're like, this looks good, this is exactly how I want my packaging to look, you can go ahead and select your coffee. All of our coffee, the 13 coffees that we have available are here. You can select those. And then you can save the product name here, so you can go back and find it later and know which one this is. So I'll click done there to save that. And then I can go ahead here and click create a product. That product is going to save. And then on your dashboard, it'll show up here. And you can use this to either connect to your Shopify store, or if you wanted to go ahead and just place a wholesale order, you can just go right here and place that new order. If you want to go back and change it, you can edit your designs, and that'll bring you here. And then one other feature I want to show you before I sign off is, let's say I come back to my main products dashboard. I go to add a product, adding a 12-ounce box. The most recent one's going to preload, but let's say this was a design I did a while ago. Like we had talked about before, up here in this box, you can choose a template, and we have the templates. We also have a feature called My Designs. And you can come back here and you can see every design that you've ever created on your account will show up here. Here's another test one I'd done previously. And you can just click that, and that'll bring that directly onto the canvas. And all of those elements, similar to like a template, are editable. And you can pick up exactly where your other product is and begin designing. And this is a great feature if you're using a same base design, but then you're just changing the names of the coffee and the roast types or the tasting notes or things like that. So I hope this video was helpful. We have more resources on roastify.app. And if you need any additional help, feel free to shoot us an email at support@roastify.app, and we'll be sure to take care of you. Take care.